So my watch says 4. Everybody ready? I will call our meeting to order and open our meeting to go to Exhibit A, the first item on our agenda. And this recommended motion is for changing the school calendar. We had a change in the date for the PD in September. So the recommended motion here is that the Board of Education approve amending the 2021-2022 school district calendar to reflect September 17th as a regular school day and changing the professional development day to September 24th with no school for students that day.
So moved.
Thanks, Jesse. And a second?
Second.
Is that you, Aster?
It is.
Okay, sweet. All right, and any discussion of this? You all saw the elementary and the secondary calendars were attached, I think. So really it was just a change in the date.
And Shanley, if I can jump in for just 2 seconds. We just recently found out that the Cattle Congress Fair, they changed the date because of something else, and they didn't say what, but something else big, so they needed to change the dates. So what we would just be doing, we wanted to be really community friendly, and so just changing one Friday for the next Friday.
That's super. Any other questions, board?
Is there any resistance to that? Any negative feedback we've gotten from teachers?
I have received none from anyone. We also just had our admin retreat. And so I personally asked every single head principal their thoughts just to gather some more input. And out of the 18 even head principals, overwhelmingly, they said it makes sense to make that change.
Yeah, I think the community would be upset if we didn't.
Yeah. And for our teachers, Lyle, it was already going to be a professional development day, whether it was the 17th or the 24th. So probably it wasn't like that was a day off to make travel plans or do things like that that would interrupt our staff, hopefully.
Correct.
Okay. All right, then if there's no further discussion, all those in favor of approving that change to the calendar, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, same sign. Sorry, India. I can't tell who's talking. Yeah. All right. And those opposed, same sign. And chair votes aye, motion carried. That takes us to item B, and this is on page 4. And this recommended motion is that the Board of Education approve the adoption of Bridges in Mathematics for pre-K classrooms at a cost of $37,139.70, beginning with the 2021-2022 school year.
So moved.
Thank you, Jesse. And a second?
Second.
Thanks, Stacy. And with discussion, this is really just a continuation of the curriculum that we approved here, about 6 weeks ago. But with all full transparency, we wanted to make sure that our board knew this was, that we're catching up and bringing all of our pre-K into the same fold with this curriculum that our K-5 curriculum has with Bridges. And I can turn it over. I know Charlotta is here, Dr. Shar is here, and Stephanie Mulhorn's here. So if anybody has questions, please feel free.
And one thing I wanted to, feel free to ask questions, but one thing I wanted to just make sure that everyone knew is we are really working hard. We haven't arrived yet, but working hard to streamline our K through 5, so our pre-K through 5. So it's not just K through 5.
Right.
And so this is an opportunity to do that by adding the Bridges. And we looked at it. Ryan Christopher, who can't be here today, he went into it in depth and really researched, and it really aligns exactly for the skills that they need for kindergarten and first grade and build upon. So that's what we're trying to do. Historically, in pre-K, teachers have had to sometimes make up their own things and make sure that they matched with us afterwards. This will help us have a solid, viable curriculum that is streamlined, whether you're in pre-K or 4th grade or 5th grade. And so this is an attempt to do that by extending that purchase that you all have already approved.
And Dr. Mulhorn, I just wanted to point out too that this is for 7 years. The digital access is for 7 years. So that really should take us quite a long ways down the Bridges path.
It does, absolutely.
What percent of our students go to pre-K?
40?
Generally about 60%. At last, we had figured, but I can get exact, but yeah, generally. And of course, due to COVID, not, that's going to be off a little bit here due to COVID.
Yeah, that's probably really close. I think, Lyle, when I first started here, we were running about 55%, but it has gone up, and that probably is pretty much due to the voluntary pre-K programs, and we've launched several new ones. And so each program that we launch, we can take another 18 kids. So it's 18, then another 18, another 18. So I would say Dr. Shar is very, very close with 60%. We might run 61, but right in there. And that we should also say too, that doesn't count the kids who might go to a private pre-K. We do survey them, but that's always self-reported. And so it's probably a little higher than that, the number of kids who go to a pre-K, but about 60% go to our pre-K.
So with the private pre-K that we go in and certify that or whatever, wasn't there something we talked about not that long ago about, Dr. Saduth, maybe you can help me with that like if a kid were to say go to like St. Ed's, in order to receive the funding, they are they're like supervised or trained, right? So do we share this curriculum with them as an option for them to use?
What we do, we have like about 5 community-based under our statewide voluntary preschool program. And so in order to, carry, our title, our name, and go along with us, then they do have to subscribe to a number of quality indicators. They do get, funding to do that. And so, we don't, so for that 10 hours a week, then their children would be exposed to many of the curricular things that we do offer.
Do we provide materials?
No, not all, no, because they do receive 95% of the funding. So, kind of it's an exchange, to get on board with this program, you need to commit to, for lack of a better term, doing what we're doing, and that is a standard of excellence and quality. So they need to take those funds and make sure that they are meeting the standards of quality, which then every year, the Department of Education asks me or our agency, our school system, to do a desk audit. And so at that point in time, through the desk audit, then the Department of Ed finds out if they're reaching the level of quality.
So do you share these recommendations with them as far as curriculum?
Absolutely. I meet with them frequently.
Yeah.
I meet with them and I tell them what we're doing. And of course they can get on board with that. We don't hide anything. We're very transparent. The whole legislation behind the statewide voluntary preschool program is that a rising tide raises all boats,
Right.
To the level of quality across all early care and educational settings.
Do we have any that take our recommendations as far as curriculum adoptions?
Yes, they do have to do that. Our research-based curriculum is creative curriculum. So they are on board with creative curriculum.
Good.
And as we jump on board with this Bridges, of course, we'll share that, we'll be, meeting about that. And of course, they can adopt it and go on board with that. Stacy, I am just so happy because Dr. Mulhorn has already said what we're trying to do. We're trying to strengthen and align pre-K, kindergarten, and first, and go on up from that. And so I think that there will be a lot of interest in what we're doing here. And I'm very, very excited.
Good. I agree. Thank you.
So are we capacity constrained? Do we provide pre-K for all students that want it?
I didn't hear you quite, Lyle. Sorry about that.
Are we capacity constrained, or do we provide pre-K for every student that would like to go to pre-K?
No, we're not capacity constrained at this point in time. No, we're not. We don't have a big waiting list at this time. Even due to COVID, last year we're a little lower, because there's still some and a little intrepidation about sending the smaller children on. But at this time, we're not constrained by capacity. Matter of fact, if I can just sneak this plug in, I'm looking so forward, and I'm so thankful to you all, Dr. Lindemann, and you all that made that happen for the new Lowell Annex. So we're just excited about that possibility of our young ones being in that building. So, but at this time, no, we're not capacity constrained.
So based on the purchases, we have 26 rooms. Is that what I'm to understand, right? Okay,
Yes, ma'am, across the district.
awesome.
And Lyle, just because this is being recorded, I do want to just add one more caveat. So while we are not constrained, it is possible that we could be full in a particular building in a particular program. So I have heard somebody say, well, I really wanted to go to this elementary and go to that pre-K, but it was full, so I couldn't get in. There is space in a preschool, pre-kindergarten, but there's not space in every pre-kindergarten. So I just want to make sure that I make note of that, because since it's being recorded, I want to be accurate.
I was just about to say that, Jane, that you might not get your first choice, but you would have a spot somewhere.
Thank you.
But in all probability, everyone will be able to go to Lowell if they want to. Is that right?
Let's hold off on that statement. There's a lot of preschools. There's a lot of pre-kindergarten. So we are working on that to get all the assignments done for the following year. So
I'm talking in terms of capacity. It seems like if a school, Kittredge, whatever one, is full, they can apply to go to Lowell, can't they?
there will be space in our district, but I'm not at this point I just don't think we know enough to know exactly where there will be space, but there's always space. And as we have kids, the preschool has always, you have to fund it the first year by yourself and the funding follows. So we've always had to kind of build up, but now we're in a little different situation with cash flow on being able to do that. But in the past years, I know when I was sitting in Dr. Mohorn's seat, we would try to gather up money to fund it for the first year. And then we would add a voluntary pre-K for that first year, and then the funding would follow the next year. So there will be space everywhere. There will be space. I just don't want to commit exactly to where that space will be until we know exactly which program is going where.
Okay.
Okay, I have one little weird nitpicky thing on page 10 with it shows the diagram or the images, showing, how they would count and things. This is just me, but the apple only has 5 holes and there's 6 seeds. It would just saying, it would drive me nuts, but that's.
It was just a test, Stacy.
No, I know.
I'm totally kidding. No,
Just saying.
totally kidding. Ann didn't. Good catch.
You guys hear me?
India, go ahead, India.
Okay, this is for Dr. Moorhan. I did send this in an email. It was kind of last minute, but the question was just the response when I was reviewing the curriculum, especially like the K through 3rd grade with the math. A lot of those who have used the curriculum had mentioned the upfront work for a lot of teachers. It was more so than they had expected. My question to Dr. Moorhan was just, have you seen that, or I think the other guy, did he mention just the workload for the teachers presenting this to students might be maybe a change for the teachers teaching this?
I would say with every curriculum, that is one of the issues we have. What we're lucky enough right now is that we got this adopted early enough that teachers can do a lot of summer work so they don't have to start the first day and not be prepared. And we're prepared to pay them to do some summer work. We're going to do some summer PD provided by the company also, so they don't have to wait until the first day of school to get all that front loading. Can't hear you now.
Yep. So when do you guys kind of determine when, or teachers give you feedback that every maybe the first year or 2 years or 3 years, do you guys determine that there maybe needs to be more insight from the company if they're struggling? When does that happen?
It happens consistently. We keep in contact with the companies. Once we sign that contract with them, it's not done. They don't just get to cut us off because we purchased that curriculum. We are in constant contact with all of the companies that we've bought curriculum from, whether it's coming and doing additional PD. And every company that we have worked with has been really good about when we reach out and say, you know what, we need more PD. What you've offered us 3 days is not enough. Our teachers need more. We have not had a company that has not said, yes, we will do it however you want to do it, whether it's virtual, we come on site. All of the companies have been super good at working with us. And we listen to the teachers. Ryan Christopher, who's the elementary curriculum person, he is in the buildings attending PLCs every single week when school was in session, meeting with teachers, because we already have teachers who are back at it doing some summer work. And that's a consistent cycle that we're taking teacher feedback, whether it's day 1, day 50, day 80, we're constantly taking that feedback.
The meeting wouldn't be complete unless I lobbied for increasing the rigor of math facts. None of these curriculums have a very strong math facts component. We can add it if we want to, so I hope we want to.
We are absolutely prepared to add the developmentally appropriate math facts where it's needed in those early grades, because we have to start early. We can't wait until their 3rd grade to do math facts.
Lyle, you did not disappoint.
Nope. Nope.
I thought he might have had a flashcard that he was going to hold up.
It's just so important because, 3 and 4, their eyes should see 3 and 4, but their brain should never. Your brain should see 7 automatically. And then the brain should be, in a rhythm that's thinking about the operation. What's the next operation? It shouldn't be distracted at all by what 3 and 4 is. The brain, that should just be automatic. And that's so helpful if every kid, had their math facts so automatic, they don't even need to think about it. That's why the math facts test should always be timed to how fast you can write, because the thinking should be automatic. The limitation on how many 100 problems in a minute, whatever it is, should be exclusively on how fast you can write. The rest of it should take no time at all. Amen.
And the seeds should match, right? Don't make me count seeds if the apple doesn't have them. So. All right. Thank you, Dr. Mohan. Thank you, Dr. Siddiff. We appreciate your time. So, all right. All those in favor then of approving the pre-K math adoption, please signify by saying aye.
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 Hi.
And those opposed, same sign. Chair votes aye, motion carried. That takes us to the next item, which is item C, and this is on page 13. And I'm going to amend this just a bit, you all. There are 3 different resolutions, and we kind of they said we could do it in 1, but I think they would prefer it if we did it in 3. So I'm going to ask that, like we did a week ago Monday, we put all 3 out there, and then we can address all 3 of them together, because all 3 of them require a roll call vote. So I'll put the first one out, the second one, and the third one, and then we can discuss. So the first one is that the board approve the resolution appointing UM Bank NA of West Des Moines, Iowa to serve as trustee, approving the first supplemental indenture and authorizing the execution of same.
So moved.
Thank you, Jesse. In a second?
Second.
Astor, thank you. All right, and the second is that the board approve the form of tax exemption certificate be placed on file and approved.
So moved.
Thank you, Jesse.
Second.
Thank you, Stacy, for the second. And then the last is that the board approve the resolution authorizing and providing for the terms of issuance and securing the payment of 30,281,000 school infrastructure sales, service, and use tax revenue refunding bonds, Series 2021 of the Waterloo Community School District, State of Iowa, under the provisions of Chapters 423E and 423F of the Code of Iowa, and providing for a method of payment of said bonds.
So moved.
Thanks, Astor. In a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jesse. All right, and discussion. So this is the follow-up to the initial proposals that we had, the initial resolutions that we had. And the reason we had to do this is because this is in a timely fashion that we had to do this sale and the payoff. So with that, I think, Michael, are you on? Maybe not?
I think he is. Is that the 96 number?
I thought it was, but I'm not, I don't
Okay,
hear.
can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can. Thank you,
Okay.
Michael.
Okay. Yep, I'm here.
Good. Don't give me a panic and make me have to explain this all by myself.
You were doing pretty well.
Thanks, thanks. All right,
is
so
re-
questions.
Yeah, just where does this fit in the process? We approved those three, then what? There was some action taken, a commitment on the other part, and now we have to file. Just explain where we are in the process.
Okay, what we did on Monday night was we approved the proposal to sell the bonds that would cover the two that we are refunding. And then you had a motion for each of the bonds that we were refunding to pay them off with the new issuance of this 30,281,000. And now this is the final steps of saying the sale has been made to Regions Bank and UMB is going to be the trustee. And the tax certificate is just a legal issue with the bonds, and this is stating the sale is final with the issuance and securing of the 30,281,000 to pay off those two bonds and pay the fees and so on, and have an interest savings of about 1.7 million.
So this is the same interest rate. What was it?
1.14. Yep.
And why, I should ask this the other night, but why is this so much lower than the last one, the 1.8?
Just, I don't know how to explain the difference of interest rates. As they've been going up and down, but we hit it on a good cycle.
I was thinking maybe it was because of shorter duration, but because if you looked at the breakdown of the 1.8, that was, if I remember right, a composite due to a number of separate issuances, and some of them were really low, like about 1, and some of them were a lot higher, and it seemed to be the low ones were because they were like a 5-year, and the higher ones were a lot more lot longer duration, but I was just curious.
Well, I think we did cut off 1 year of payment. So just that time period helped.
Okay,
But I'm guessing it's a very complex answer.
yeah. It's a good interest rate though. Seems.
Yep.
All right, is there anything further for Michael? Again, this was our main reason for meeting today. I appreciate all of you. Michael, tell me when this was bound by the July 1st deadline that we needed to get this paid by. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, this requires a roll call vote, board. So I'm going to go ahead and do the first resolution, and I'm just going to read you guys on my screen. So Jesse,
Yes.
Lyle,
Yes,
India,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Astor,
Yes.
and Shanley votes aye. So resolution 1 passed. On to resolution 2 for the tax exemption certificate. Jesse,
Aye.
Lyle,
yes,
India,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Astor,
Yes.
and chair votes aye. The second resolution has passed. And now on to the third resolution this is for the securing of the payment. So Jesse,
Yes.
Lyle,
yes,
India,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Astor,
Yes.
and chair votes aye. So the third resolution has passed. Pam, did you get all that? I hope.
Yes, we're good.
Okay, perfect. All right.
do it over.
Yeah, stop it. All right, so there being no further business to come before the board, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So move.
Thanks, Astor and Jesse, and all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye, we are adjourned. Thank you all. Enjoy the beautiful evening.